Will we get new ones? Bring our shoes and get them out of the office. Yeah. You want to catch? Young Paddy.
Billy, mate, how are you?
Good, buddy. Good. Mad day. Bonkers. We're bringing in a setter, so I'd like five fucking interviews today, as well as everything else. So it's been bonkers.
Far out, mate. Yeah, that sounds like it.
I have 30 notifications that I haven't even opened today.
Yeah, I think you've got a lot of good talent who's pretty hot to get on that team as well. Can't blame them.
What's that?
I said I can't blame them. All the people, mate,
people.
doing good work.
Yeah. Let me see where Adam is. Hey, fuckface, where are you? It's just pure abuse. How did I build a business on abuse? I don't know.
On abuse. Yeah, I love it.
Pure abuse.
It's a unique model.
It is very unique. Adam, do you get my message?
Which one?
Go to your WhatsApp.
You just left you a really nice one just now, mate.
That's one of the better ones, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that one of the better ones? Yeah.
You're in a chipper mood today, Bill.
Uh-huh.
Money, aren't you?
Happy. I'm trying to get things better for you, you fucker.
I love you. I love you. I love you as I do. Working so hard for me day and night. Cheers.
What'd you say?
Working so hard for me day and night.
I am. Day and night, yeah. And feed for your kids over in fucking Thailand that nobody knows about. Shit, no, Paddy knows.
Yeah, it's all right. That reminds me of a story for another time, but yeah.
Reminds me of my kids, actually. Oh, shit. Did I say that out loud? Right, we're going to go live. We'll go into the group. Paddy, how do you want me to frame this?
What you asking me?
Yeah.
Your mate Paddy.
When you went the 8 for 8, what did you finish it up? Like, where did it go? Did it finish at 8 for 8, or where did it go?
No, it finished at 9, and possibly at 10, which I'll find out today. But the last one I couldn't get on the spot. I had to do a follow-up because there was a logistical issue and there was a bit of fear there. So 9 for 9 in total and 13 and a half comms. So not too shabby. Honestly, I was frustrated I didn't get the 10th on the spot. Yeah, I was genuinely fuming, bro. Yeah. I wanted to reach that fable 100%er club.
That is human nature for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
One sure way to live a very frustrating life is make progress and then decide that progress wasn't enough and deem it a failure. It's a sure way to fuck your life up.
Yeah, I mean, without it though, like what drives progress fundamentally without that little demon just chasing you in the background always? I mean, just, yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse, isn't it? Blessing and a curse.
I love seeing your wins, buddy. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everything that you're doing. So big well done, buddy.
Thank you, mate.
We need to chat about other things as well, but not for another time. For another time, I'm with you, party people tomorrow. Actually, I'm doing a fucking presentation.
I know you are, mate. I'm telling them they all need to come and get a dose of Bill's big gospel.
I haven't even prepared for it. There you go.
You just wing it, mate. You'll be fine.
That will be a complete free ball. Who here wants to make more money? I do. Hey!
When do we want it? No!
Right, we're going live. Fucking pull yourselves together, you said.
All right. Be sensible.
I always have to make sure that I'm live. So give me a second.
We're actually live.
Are we?
I don't know.
It says it in the corner. But
yeah, I just got a notification on my phone. Yeah, I think we are.
Where is he streaming it is the next question.
Yeah, this is
cool. Cool. We are recording and we are live. So I'm here with my good friend, Paddy the Baddy, as he's like to be called from time to time from a couple of ladies. Paddy the Baddy is someone that I've looked at for the last I suppose, number of years, who has really took the sales like a duck to water, who has really developed into what I would like to consider an elite salesperson. And why I would like to consider Paddy an elite salesperson, I sold what Paddy sells. It is a very, very hard sell. And when you can back it up and you can go 9 for 9 with a hopeful 10 for 10, that means to me, you know what the fuck you're doing. So without further ado, I want to welcome Paddy with my comrade, my Robin, because I'm Batman. Adam can be the Robin. A big welcome, Paddy. How are you, buddy? What's going on?
Yeah, no, very well. I'm happy to be here, mate. Never thought I'd ever hear the words ushered from someone else like yourself that I'm an elite. So that's absolutely charming and humbling, mate. Thank you very much.
No, I know. And the reason I say that, because I've sold what you sell, and it is a hard sell to do. So if you can go 9 for 9, 10 for 10, and you can back it up and the level of consistency that you bring to the table, then you can take everything that I say and you can take it all and bring it to where you want to be. Let me ask you, I always want to start with where you are. Like, just give a concept of what you've achieved, what you've done over the last maybe 6 weeks.
Yep. So
7 weeks.
7 weeks now, I think it is, isn't it?
Yep.
So essentially I came to you with, some things sort of figured out, some puzzle pieces in place, but largely more of an objection handling sequence that was like a giraffe with zebra stripes. It was just very much like, okay, this sounded cool over here, so I'm going to include that in my process. Fundamentally something that just wasn't consistent, leading to very erratic results in, a whole head full of frustration. That there's just been a lot of complicated garbage that I've just taken out my head and thrown out the window, giving me a lot more certainty and just a lot more clarity of knowing what I'm saying and when I'm saying it and why I'm saying it, most importantly.
Good. Give us an understanding of what you sell and like what the price packages are and stuff like that. If you can, obviously, you don't need to kind of go too deep into it. Just give everyone a kind of a range of what you do and what you sell.
Sure. So we work with contractors, North America, so construction business owners, people like that. Packages anywhere from sort of 3 to 50K. Yeah.
What a range.
just a couple of things though.
In there, yeah, good stuff. Okay, let me ask, when you came, besides obviously mixing and matching sales structures, and that's the problem I see time and time again. Oh, that sounded cool because he can say it that way, and I'm going to put it in now, and I try and do it, and it just lands like an egg.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You just squash into the face.
Like wearing someone else's underwear. Feels kind of exciting to begin with, but it's weird pretty quickly.
You're not supposed to do that.
What the hell? I know why you're in Amsterdam, you little weirdo. Anyway, let's be ethical with this conversation.
Okay.
Now you have me picturing you wearing a tongue or something. I'm like, what?
Paddy was doing the objection handling.
Yeah.
Besides obviously putting together like this script and that script and everyone else's script, like what were the biggest kind of challenges you were facing besides those? Would you feel when you first came in?
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is for a long time, because not my first rodeo for sales, been doing this for 8 years now, but I've always had this little nagging thing in the back of my head where I can't be Paddy. I can't be myself. I can't say the thing that I want to say of how I perceive the situation to be, because somehow that's unprofessional or doesn't conform with some sort of like unwritten standard for how I should conduct myself, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Because as people here, I'm not the norm. I speak what I speak and I say what I say, and if you don't like it, fuck off. I don't give a fuck. But ultimately, the people that do like it and the people that do understand it, I'll take them to the moon. You know what I mean? And you can get off at the moon or you can keep going through the universe. I don't really care. You tell me. But that's what it takes. But here's the problem is, and again, I'm not throwing shade at anyone. When you learn from somebody and someone's concept is, this is the only way that you can make a sale. This is the only thing that I need to tell you because I'm a little bit unsure of myself. My ego has gone through the roof. Then that's the problem, because I don't speak like an American. Paddy doesn't speak like an American. Fucking shitface down here doesn't speak like an American. You know what I mean? And Americans can't speak like us. But if we always are in an opinion that the only way to do it is going from point A to point Z, we're all fucked. And I think that's where you were as well, Adam, like trying to listen to too many people and listen to how people use different verbiage, and it just wasn't landing properly, wasn't it?
Not at all, not at all. And then getting stuck in also in just read the scripts, just read the words, just read the script, just read the words, just read them like I do with this tonality and with this inflection, and on this question go up and this question go down. And you just forget who you are, and you forget that there's actually a other person on the end of the line actually maybe could use a little bit of help. And you're sat there thinking, shit, which, like, how do I say this now? What kind of, how am I presenting myself? How do I sound?
Yeah.
Ultimately, am I going to get the sale? Which leads to no sale.
Yeah. Do I speak like this or do I speak like that? You're like, what the fuck? Just go and have a conversation. Like, just go and figure out, can I help the fucking person?
Yeah. People
I mean,
trying to scale their personality essentially for our team, which is the thing. Like, would just be exactly like me.
Doesn't make sense. And it just doesn't make sense. Like, if I said to Paddy, you got to come and speak like I do, we're very similar, I suppose, in our mannerisms and who we are as people. We're very blunt and honest, but Christian is the opposite of me. Like, you couldn't meet a different person than Christian. Christian went from, he's done 30K already this month. He's only the 18. So Christian is completely the opposite of me. But what we need to give him and you and everyone else is the right education, and then you make what you make with that, because that's who you are as a person. You know what I mean? What have your results been up to now? That's what I want to focus on, because that's the key. Most people, here's the other side of this, right? This is why I don't do it. If I said to everybody, I will ROI you in 50 days or less, how many people out of 10 people would believe that to be true?
Oh. Yeah, I mean, they just take it as like, oh, really? You know, sounds too good to be true, or just put their foot in it, all kinds of things. I mean, at the moment, just from like the sort of the last stretch that I went on, I did 13.5K in comms. That's not including the deals when I first came in before I went on this streak or this new streak that I'm on. So I would say all up, I'm probably at about, I need to double check, but about between 20 and 25 on average.
Crazy, isn't it? And that's in 7 weeks.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't
it? It is all right, as they say. Yeah.
Better than a kick in the teeth.
Better than a kick in the hole, correct.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
To learn to drive a car.
Can I ask what watch you wearing? I know you're a watchman. What is it?
This Tudor Pelagos, but I'll soon be upgrading that to a Rolly Submariner. Go to the big boy.
Are you go for Rolly?
I am. I got this one. It has a long-winded story I won't get into here, but it was the first nice Swiss watch I bought myself.
Yeah.
You know, when I came to this account to be sales and be a manager. So yeah, it has a lot of meaning, but this is a new milestone, so it needs to be celebrated appropriately.
Yeah. Can I ask without? Why do I keep saying, can I ask? Of course I can ask. I'm the fucking boss around here.
You want, mate?
You know what I want. Why do I keep, it's the politeness. I'm all polite. I am polite. Which went behind all the fluff and the puff and the chest banging. I am a polite little man at the end of it all.
You're a gentleman, Bill.
What is a Rolly these days? What's the
Rolly? I mean, yeah, if you want a new unboxing papers, I think it's anywhere for like a Submariner, about 15K.
Shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, could I spend 15K in a watch, Adam? I don't know, buddy.
Of course you can.
I saw one the other day. I'm like, I got a couple of bright things and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, could I drop 15 big ones on a watch? I don't know. I'm in property. I like property, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just look at it like I'm fitting out my whole house for less than 15K. I'm like that 15K can fit out a house for me that I can rent out and I can get passive income from. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe down the road I'll buy one. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think I've transcended magpie thinking yet. So it's just if it's shiny. And I think it's one of the things you first said actually when I got in here, like the mentality, if I want it, I get it. And it's like, I know I like toys. I know I want to eat whatever I want, go get whatever I want. So just, no restraint.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's the beauty of it. Like, that's what I tell you all the time. When you make enough money, and fuck you money, because like you make 30.5 grand a week, that's fuck you money, in my opinion. You do that for 45 weeks of the year and take 6-7 weeks off as a holiday, you are fucking living life. You know what I mean? You make 10 grand a week, you're living life. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. You make 10 grand a week, your life is sweet. And you can do what you want. And you can buy what you want. And that's the key. Like, I'm not a big thing like that. Like for me, right, just to give you concepts, I bring my little girl who's 1 for breakfast every morning. Cost me about 25 quid a morning. But for a lot of people can't do that. No. You know what I mean? My little girl gets 25 quid every morning from me in breakfast. She eats beans on toast and I get a coffee, and my partner Grace gets a coffee. We might get some food now and again or whatever it may be, but that's her hour. You know what I mean? And that for me, I don't know, like it's less than a minute work. Do you know what I mean? But like it's the concept of what I want, when I want, how I want, with who I want. That to me is an expense. But it's in a way that I get a tremendous amount of value, because I know when she goes to school, I won't have that time. You know what I mean? So I'll always look back and say, I brought you for breakfast for fucking 4 years of your life, from the moment that you were 2, maybe 1.5. You know what I mean? So we all want different things in life, and I'm sure when you have kids yourself, Paddy, your priorities will shift, and you will be doing different things because that's just what you lean yourself into. But the beauty of what I want to bring this back to is you'll have the choice.
Well, this is fundamentally what it's about, isn't it? Because I mean, how many people just stress over little things, like obviously at the moment having the air conditioning on for too long, or filling up the sink, or just doing a thing. Oh, well, I can't do that because of this. And it's just constantly barriers in front of themselves, because fundamentally they don't have a skill that produces enough income. And if you are placing obstacles in your own life because you don't have skills to live the way you want to do, well, you know, truth be is, that's fucking on you.
Yeah. No. Yeah. People always lean in on the actual thing, which is the money. I'm not making enough money. No, fuckface. You're not actually earning enough money, which means that your skill set isn't at a level that can actually require that amount of money. That's the key. People don't understand it.
And it's not the offer.
Nope.
It's not the offer. It's like, you can't be a second division football player and say, the only reason I'm not making more money is that I'm not in the Premiership. The reason why you're not in a Premiership team is because you're not a Premiership player yet.
Yeah. The same reason why Adam wasn't a professional rugby player here in the UK and he was in Germany.
Exactly.
Shots fired.
I was in France though. That was no fun. I tell you. Jesus Christ, that's a hard way to earn a buck. Playing rugby in France.
They're like gladiators, aren't they? Back in the day. They're like gladiators. They're just, you know, they're just used and abused.
Eye gouging and biting.
Yeah.
Why
us, Paddy the Baddy? Why the objection box?
Yeah, I think I think that's a good question. I think, like, obviously, like, I come from a military background, same as you, Bill.
Yeah.
So that's a big plus in my eyes, but it's more of how that translates. So for anybody that doesn't know, when you are, regardless of the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, you have a set of standards that have to be abided by at all times, or the repercussions are massive. Right. And you get it drilled into you that you have to be at the standard. And so in an industry which, you know, is just full of like people who overpromise and underdeliver, you know, and quite frankly, don't give a shit about how well you actually do, just more if you get in there.
Yep.
You hold people to that standard. This whole infrastructure is designed that if you're coming here, you are going to work your fucking ass off to get where you want to be. Yep. And if you're not, leave, pack up, bon voyage. And fundamentally for me, that is the biggest attractor, because from a pure ego standpoint, I don't want to be that guy. You know, I don't want to be the one getting called out or put under the limelight that I'm not doing what I can. Who wants that?
Yeah. Yeah. And just to tell you, like, we got rid of 3 people this month. Well, we didn't, I did. I did. I give them back their money. I just tell them go. Because I don't want fucking people in here licking windows. I don't want people in here telling me that they want to change their lives and their lives is so shit, and then I put some pressure on and they crumble. It's no good. Like, I'll give you everything that you need, and I think that's something that really, really, without being an egotistical bastard, something that stands out. I'll give you every tool, system, structure, hook, analogy, framework that you need to go make money. And if I give you everything, I put it in your hand and you don't use it, I'm going to take it all back. Because you don't deserve it, quite frankly, you know, because what we have going here, and I'm very, very proud of it, and Adam is a massive, massive part of it for me, as well as Juan and everyone else that's coming in. And you hit the nail on the head. There's a set standard that has to be hit, because I know what I did that got me to where I am today as quickly as I did. I know people that have been in sales that have never made the amount of money that I made. I know people that have been in sales for 4 or 5 years, and with no shade, straight up, after 6 months, I was fucking coaching them in my team. I got to the top position in the agency in less than 3 months of being full-time. So I know what it takes to get to where you want to go as quickly as you want to get there. So if you come to me, Paddy, and you tell me I want to change the world and I want to buy a 15K watch, and then I give you a 15K fucking quality process in your hand and you don't use it, I'm going to take it all back, because it's waste, you know, and it's waste of my time, energy, and I'll just give you back everything else, which is important, you know. So that's that side, and I appreciate you, Paddy, being honest, because that's what most people refer to me as, is being honest and being upfront with people. I'll never say that I can do something if I can't do it, and I'll bust my bollocks to do it, and if I don't end up doing it, I'll put up my hand. And it won't be from a lack of effort, and it won't be from a lack of care or want, and need and desire, you know. And I see that day in, day out, people bringing people into coaching programs all the time. Sometimes they actually go into a coaching program just to see how much shit they do and shit that they promise and that ever deliver. I don't know, have any ever gone into a program and be like, I'm just going to try this for a couple of weeks just to see what they actually deliver on? I done that a couple of weeks ago with a crypto offer, and I was like, okay, you told me X. After 4 weeks, I was like, okay, well, this is what you said, this is what you provided, I'm out of here, so give me back my money. Nice. You told me it was going to be this, and it wasn't, so what the fuck? And I always say to people, like, I give them a contract, not a contract, but an agreement from me to say that if you don't get what you want, here's every fucking cent back. There's not one coach out there that will do that in any field. I know, because I know all the big players in this space. I am on first name terms. So I know all the big players, and I know, you know, it's not in case that's universal. So it's all about, like, can you back everything up, you know? And that's something that the army taught us. And yes, you don't have to be an army to be very, very good at sales, or you don't have to be very good at sport to be very, very good at sales, but you ultimately have to understand where you want to go, what's needed and required to get there, but what you're willing to do to get there. That's the key, you know. That's the other side.
I told the guys not long ago, a lot of people want it.
Yeah.
But you gotta want it.
Everybody wants to be able to walk in and fucking buy a 15 grand watch. You're gonna buy it in cash?
You know it, mate. I'm thinking of getting even like a little silver suitcase, you know, some like polarized shades, suit in. There you go. I want that. There you go. Yeah.
Count it. Don't you dare get the machine. Count it.
Count it.
Yeah. Wow. Love it. When you get it, you better send me a picture. You better post it.
Mate.
Yeah. Brilliant. I love that. I don't care what people buy. I couldn't give a shit. What I want to do is give you enough skill level to be able to do whatever you want. You want to buy a pony so it sits in your front garden? Go for it.
I do want a pony, actually, now you mention it.
So if that's what you want to buy, or you want to buy 2 watches, one for your left hand, one for your right hand, go for it. I don't really care. That's up to you. But I want to give you enough skill that would allow you to do that. Can I ask then, the last kind of couple of questions I have for you, buddy, is if you weren't in the objection box, where would you be?
Yeah, okay. I would be floating sort of the 10K mark would be the high end of the average, and that would be like a lot of cherry picking. That would be the stars all aligning, you know, Mercury is not in retrograde, as they say. You know, without sort of sounding too dramatic about it, but it's the level of seriousness of what I take it. But if I didn't do it, or if I didn't pursue learning more skills in general, I mean, essentially all I would be doing is choosing to sedate my dreams and just choosing to, you know, entertain, you know, this fake idea or this limiting idea that I can't have all the shit I want and I can't live the life I want. And that's like this whole concept of investing in yourself, really, you know, of just like, it doesn't matter so much of like, is it going to be perfect? It's more like, are you willing to go there? Are you willing to try? Because where I was, which isn't bad by a lot of people's, you know, standpoints and markers, it wasn't satisfactory for me.
Yeah, absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head. Not everyone's goals are your goals.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't have to be, right? Yeah, you know, it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. And
I'll tell you, this is a bit personal, but I'll kind of just wrap this kind of what you just said there. My stepdad, his sister had a stroke the other day. Do you know how old she is? She's 41 years of age.
Young.
And it just kind of proves the concept of You know what I mean? If you're not happy with where the fuck you are, then whose responsibility is it for you to change that? You know what I mean? Paddy was in a position where most people, right, would be absolutely beaming. But like, if I lived in, without being disrespectful, if I lived in Vietnam in a tin shed, like having running water is the dream. Without being disrespectful, that's just some people's reality. If I lived in the middle of Nigeria and I didn't have clean water to feed my kids, and this is the reality that we all live in, this is no shade or like disrespect, like that dream of that person would be to have enough availability to be able to feed their kids and grow crops. Okay, but the world that we live in, yeah, the world that we live in, you can literally have whatever you want, like literally. So why would you ever settle at something that you don't want in your life? It makes no logical sense. And the worst part is you only get one spin around. I don't know anybody that has come back to life. Do any of you?
It was
I
one
don't.
a couple of thousand years ago.
Couple of mummies. That was a mummy film. That was with, what was your man's name? The Rock. So what I mean by all that is, like, if you're not where you want to be, then whose responsibility is it to get to where you want to be? And what do you feel you need to do to get on that right path? Your goal could be 100 grand a month. I don't really care. Okay, that's up to you. That's up to an individual. But the actions and the determinations and the commitments on a daily basis are going to understand whether you're going to get there or not. The biggest thing for you, Paddy, and the biggest thing that I loved about you was when I spoke to you, this wasn't even a concept. This wasn't even a thing. I had no testimonials. I had no nothing. I had just my name, a couple of people that knew who I was. And I gave you one thing. I said, I'd give you my guarantee that I would give you everything you need to get to where you want to go. Now we've like 10 testimonials a day. You know what I mean? But what it all boils down to, I knew my North Star. I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew what I was capable of doing. And what I needed was for people to help and build that out too. And that's what it takes, you know, and that's what it's all about. You got to figure out what you want. And even if it's better, you got to figure out what you want to help people with. And then you go all in and you just do it and you just get there, you know, and that's what it's all about. Any questions, Adam? I don't want to take too much time away from Paddy Boy because I know he's busy. Any questions or anything that you want to kind of input into the conversation? Or
what I had for breakfast, shoe size, favorite color, whatever you like, go nuts, mate.
The one thing I do like, and what I do love about the objection box and you, Bill, is what Paddy does have now, besides all the watches and besides being able to buy what he wants when the fuck he wants. You actually have a skill that means that you could go to prison tomorrow, Paddy, and you could get out 2 years down the line, no shoelaces because they take them off you, and you could make this amount of money within weeks.
Yeah, that's huge. That is huge.
Take away from you. No pandemic, no COVID, no pandemic, no recession, no government. Nobody can never take that back from you now. That's it. It's installed. It's hardwired. So you have the skill to be able to make that money as and when you want. And that's what I love about the box. That's what I really, really enjoy about it.
It's like riding a bike or a woman, as they say, or a man, or whatever you're into. You know what I mean? Once you do it once and you have a good concept of it and you have an idea, it's just about repeating and rinsing. You know, like how many times did you learn how to ride a bike, Paddy?
I don't know, but got some scraped knees along the way, but you keep doing it, but just once, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. How many times I want my coaching, and this is what I tell people all the time, I want my coaching to be the equivalent of a driving instructor. Paddy's like, that's interesting. What does he mean? I mean this. When you learned and you got your car that ultimately said you were a professional driver, how many times did you go back to that driving instructor to actually get more lessons?
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I've got my license. It's there once.
You went once and then you go back absolutely 0 times because the proof of the concept was, I'll show you how to drive. And after that, you don't ever need me again. Other than if you want to come back. And if you like how I drive and if you want to just get better. And of course, there's grades to that. You can learn how to drive a bike, then you learn how to cycle, or you learn how to cycle and then drive a bike and drive a fucking motorbike and a car and stuff. And then some people want to learn how to be a fucking Formula 1 driver. And then that takes coaching and development and X, Y, and Z. Some people want to learn how to drive a lorry.
Can you make me an F1 driver now, Bill?
Yeah, I probably could. Yeah. I want my coaching to be in a position where someone never needs me again. And if I can do that with everybody, I've made my job is done. You know what I mean? And that's the key. If I can get you to a level where you know you can get in behind the back of a bus, back of a car, back of a lorry, and you know you can drive the fucking thing, then I have my job done. That's my key. That's my goal. That's my North Star. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Okay, last question. If anyone is out there and they're kind of like, I don't know, I suppose a little bit doubtful, and the problem where the doubt comes from is because everyone is promised the moon, the stars, and the sun, and they get absolutely nothing other than the dick in their hand, which is a little bit sad. And that's why I bring it back to the way of if I said to somebody I can ROI you in 50 days, most people tell me to fuck off. They just would, because they probably heard it 100 times, but I prove it. We're in the undeniable bracket now. There's undeniable evidence that what we do works. So that's
100%.
If someone is in that position that are just a little bit uncertain about themselves, a little bit uncertain about going into another program, because I know a tremendous amount of people are doing other programs, have gone other places and not actually got delivered, and that saddens me, because we've all done that. And there's a great objection handling in that I can coach you on. But anyway, what would you say to that person? What would you think?
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, there's so many things that like about the program that come to mind, but really, like, it's not even about that, because anybody who's trying things, it's not about, oh, well, I've tried this thing and I failed. You know, like when you want to drive the car or ride the bike or learn any skill, it's about how much do you want it and how long are you willing to try with delaying a possible result before you're willing to get there. So, I mean, have a word with yourself in the mirror and ask, is this the path you're going down? Because there will be eggs broken along the way. You will fall, you will stumble, you will be frustrated. You know, it will be hard at times. But if you're not signing up for that and you just want this, then you're just talking, you're not walking. You know, what kind of person are you if you're not committed to fucking doing everything you can?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely spot on. It's what I did. Like, I had no other choice. When I walked into sales, I had no other choice. I don't know about you, Paddy, but when I left the army, I left with nothing.
Exactly the same situation. The whole reason why I got in sales was like, right, what skills do I have now?
I can shoot a gun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
I can crawl around. I can run 8 miles with weight on my back. Gee whiz. Well, hi, you tomorrow, lad.
Oh, cool. Well, I have this fucking shelf that needs stacking. Can you do that? Oh, okay, I'll do that. Unfortunately, that's what happens. Yeah, I can go into private protection and blah, 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 but I want to get away from that. So when I left the army, I came to London and built a fitness business and got wiped out with that. When I came to London, just tell you this before I go, I came to London with $3,000 in my back pocket at 21 years of age. I had 2 numbers in my phone. Grace, who I love and, you know, will always take care of, was my partner, and her dad. Those are the only 2 numbers I had in an English phone. And I built the business out of that. I spent $3,000 on advertising in a paper. That would tell you. Facebook advertising wasn't even a thing back then. I spent $3,000 buying flyers that I could put in local papers. That was how I advertised. Facebook was probably around by then. That was 2016. It was around, but I didn't know what Facebook advertising was. I didn't know what that was.
If Facebook advertising was very hot back then, you probably just
didn't. Was it? I just didn't know. I come from Ireland, buddy. I come from a town.
Technology and Bill. Yeah.
I come from a town where there's 10,000 people, buddy. So, like, believe me when I tell you,
you are very good at exactly one thing, though, and nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Facebook was around, but I didn't know that you could advertise on Facebook.
You didn't even know the internet existed then. I'm sorry.
We were in caves back then. But what I mean by all that is, like, I knew what I wanted. You know what I mean? That was 9 years ago. I knew what I wanted. I spent 7 years building it, and I got wiped out in a day. Boris Johnson jumped on the 24th of March, 24th, 26th of March, somewhere around there, and said, go home for 2 weeks. We'll figure it out in 2 weeks. That 2 weeks nearly turned into 2 years. I was like, well, I can't fucking wait 2 years. My daughter is on the wall there. She was born the 7th or the 5th May. I didn't have 2 years. I had 2 weeks. And then when a fella said to me, hey, do you want to sell my program, my fitness program? we were selling jumping jack sit-ups and fucking push-ups in the height of the coronavirus. Yeah. So believe me when I tell you, like, I know what it takes to fucking get out of your own way, but I know what it takes to go the hard way. You know what I mean? And you do too, Paddy, and you do too, Adam. Adam's the exact same, got wiped out with COVID. You know what I mean? And ended up in a position where, you know, needed to make money, fell into sales. So nobody ends up coming out of school and say, I want to be the best salesperson in the entire world. You're like, oh, fuck him. Fuck that sleazy cunt.
It automatically disqualify you from ever becoming a salesperson, to be honest. Anybody who says that at that young age,
you're like,
you should never be allowed.
What a weirdo. Yeah. Well, it ultimately, what really sparked it for me, I was like, this concept straight away, I tell you this and then I gotta go. When I walked into sales, the fellow I was working with at the time said to me, I'll give you £35 every time you close a deal. I was like, okay, I'm getting £55 for an hour of coaching somebody. If I do this in 30 minutes, then I've just doubled my income without actually leaving my house. I was like, what?
This is a no-brainer. This is amazing at the time.
The penny dropped then, and I was like, after 2 weeks, I said to Grace, I made like 3x what I would make in a normal gym. I was like, fuck COVID, fuck the gym.
We made it.
This is it. This is what we're doing.
This is the gravy train.
Yeah. I was like, the penny just dropped, and I was like, is the, for maybe the first year of sales, I was always looking over my shoulder, waiting for someone to say, ha, tricked you, fuck you. I was always waiting. And even to this day, I'm like somewhat weird waiting for someone to come and say, yeah, no, it's all over. And I know it's a weird concept. And I know because I've come from Ireland where, and I'm sure you're the same, Paddy, where what you bring in terms of work rate will ultimately determine what you make. I didn't know what a credit card was. I didn't have a credit card until I came to England. So the whole idea of credit or anything like that, or building businesses were, in my world, where I come from, is built on your back.
Yeah. I think it's like the whole idea, and this was something very big for me, just growing up, it's just good times don't last. You know, is the thing that was very much sort of just in me, and that was from, so it's like when you got it, you have to capitalize on it, because if you don't, it's just going to get snatched away, and then you're at the bottom of the mountain again. Got to start walking, and it's that fear that gets me up anyway and makes me think what happens, because again, I think that's what you're describing anyway.
Absolutely. And then it's amplified in the army, because you think you get to the top of the mountain and they say, oh, actually we're going all the way down to the end and we're going to do it again. You're like, because you're always, I don't know about you, Paddy, when I was in the army, you're like, sit down there for 5 minutes and take a drink. Next minute you hear an IED going off, a fake IED. You're like, no, we got to bug out. You're like, fucking hell, I just sat down, you bastard.
there's no comfort. There's
no comfort in it. There's no comfort in the army. And we've come from that world where we're always looking over our shoulder, waiting for someone to fucking shoot a blank at us. And then it's game on again, the fight is back on. And I've always, like, for 12 months had that concept of just sprint, because I don't know when it's all going to stop. It's gone now over the last maybe year, I want to say, you know what I mean? But for the first year, I was like, and as I always said to Grace, that's why kind of, when I started in sales, I still did the fitness, because I was like, this is going to end like in a couple of weeks, and then I'm back to fitness. So it took me like 5 months. So let's say June, July, August, September, October, November, December. It took me 6 months of being in sales to actually go full time. I only went full time in January 2021. I will tell you. And then 2 months after that, I was in the best account in the entire organization, and I was leading the entire front for that. So what I meant by that is, like, I had always that fear of always looking over my shoulder, waiting for this to actually fold. And like, I only got a microphone like 8 months ago. I was like, what do we need a microphone for? Like, I'm waiting for someone to tell me that it's all finished. Do you know what I mean? So we've come from that world where we're just uncertain of ourselves, and like we come from what ifs. But now I know I have a skill that ultimately means I will never ever dig a hole again, or ever train someone in the gym again if I don't want to. I can literally sit in front of a computer like this with a microphone, with internet, and I will always make money. And that, when that dropped for me, I was like, oh, brilliant. What a life.
Yeah.
What a life. And that's the level that you are now, Paddy. You know, and that's the level that where you, a great mentor of mine once said to me, you now have a skill that guarantees you'll never, ever, ever be stuck for money. Because salespeople are the biggest asset of any business. Without a salesperson, there's no business. And great salespeople are going to be in the greatest opportunities because they got the greatest value and volume to offer. And if you get to that level, the world is right. So you can pick and choose what you do.
Yeah, I mean, talk about sort of like job security, and not necessarily with one thing, but just as a role, like you are fundamentally never going to be out of work. There is always going to be something to shift, you know, and you were needed with that. And because you deal with people, I mean, unless we start selling to robots, and then we might have to switch things up a little bit. But until that day comes, I think we'll be all right.
Who'll sell the robot? The person will sell the robot first, and then the robot will sell the robot. But then the person will actually sell the system for the robot to sell the robot. We're always going to be in there somewhere. Like we're always like sales ultimately is the biggest skill in the world. It is. You know what I mean? You go to any industry, there's a salesman. Can you tell me one industry that there's no salesman? Or person or lady, of course. A fireman. A police officer. But you are selling. You're selling on the ability to come into this, aren't you? Which is a recruiter. What does a recruiter do? He's selling, isn't it?
Concepts and ideas. I mean, it's just human communication as a whole, isn't it? Of like
communications and connection. I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments or whatever. Is there any industry out there that doesn't require salespeople? I don't know. I don't think there is. Definitely the top 5 industries in the entire world require salespeople, put it that way. And there'll always be a position for great people. The problem is everybody wants to come in, but everybody's not good. I see salespeople and they're awful. Like can't open up a conversation. Like literally can't say hello. Like
for what it's worth to anyone listening. I mean, I've been at this now for 8 years. I sucked for at least 6 of those. Massively.
You didn't have to though.
No, I didn't. I didn't know any other way. I was too arrogant, too in my own way. I mean, I'm not pulling any punches on myself. I was shit for a long time.
Yeah. But now you're not.
No, and now I'm not.
Finally.
You do what
you want.
Yeah.
And now you do what you want. You can buy a 15, 20, 25 grand watch if you want. And that's the key. Whatever you want to do, that's what you want. And that's what you have. I remember when I said that to you all. You get the skill to a level where you can do what you want, when you want, how you want, who you want. That's freedom. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. That's freedom. Yeah. All right, Paddy. It's been a pleasure, buddy. Normally we do this for 30 minutes, but this is nearly 50 minutes, 20 minutes above. Yeah. The reason why is because I love you. And the reason why is because we have so many things that we can speak on, so much that we can provide in terms of value for people. If you have got something out of this, please let us know below. Please give Paddy a pat in the back. What Paddy has done over the last maybe 6, 7, 8 weeks is not normal. Okay, it's just not normal. And long may it continue and long may it last. So peace, love, respect. Adam, see you later. Paddy, see you later. Behave.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.